Bam! MC is in the house. Give you guys a minute to jump on. Stand by 1 sec. All right. Well, on the deck today, needed to get my towel here. My wife's probably going to be pissed. There's probably some sort of function or purpose for this towel, but whatever. So, a bunch of people on now. What's up, James? I'm gonna just, as usual, go off the cuff somewhat. I could see just the scrolling comments, so if you put questions down and I don't see them, don't get offended. There's a good chance it just scrolled past. What's up, Big Josh? Big Jim, what's going on, brother man? Good to see you guys. I think it was last weekend, a little over a week ago now, that we had PressureCon and got to see a bunch of my my longtime allies and friends and brothers, and it was a good time spent. Mad ass, how is the diet going? What's up, Big Danny? Yeah, the diet's... What's up, Chuck? The diet's going well. I don't know if I'd want to call it a diet. It's... well, let me tell you exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I am doing keto and intermittent fasting. So I've been keto since June 1st, and I use an app called Zero. I've just been using it for about a week. Shout out to my man Marlo, who put me onto it. But I've been doing intermittent fasting since June 1st as well. I was in the... I think I was 273 on June 1st. I taught a seminar, the Modern Warrior Conference in Oklahoma, at the end of May. I want to say May 23rd, 24th. And I was 278, 279 then. A little bit prior to that, I was in the 80s. It's been a it's funny. Let me fucking, I'm reading and talking at the same time. I feel like a fucking retard. So here's the thing. So if you put anything here, I'll try and scroll and find it. But if I don't hate me. It has not been difficult losing this weight. Let me repeat. It has not been difficult losing this weight. The reason it hasn't been difficult is because the motivation that I had was so clear, was so full, that there were no deficiencies that I had to sort of compensate for during this whole time. I had a what's up, Big Joe? I had a epiphany, a little over a month ago, 2 months going on right now, whereby I saw my deficiencies as clearly as I've ever seen them as an adult. And, there's a talk that I did on what my journey was at PressureCon. And you guys can go to the, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make it public. So what I'll make public is the talk that I gave at PressureCon regarding my, my journey. The reason, I'll be honest, the reason I don't make a lot of things public is because I wind up wasting energy on people that I don't give a fuck about. And you guys know, what I'm talking about. You guys know the critics, the haters, the fucking cunts who want to tell you, what you can't do or what you haven't done yet. but they damn sure can't fucking tell you what they've done themselves. So it's it's something where I don't care what critics say. I don't care what, if you follow my philosophy, if you've done any work with me as an individual in coaching, one-on-one coaching and whatnot, you understand that, I have something called the alliance trivium. And it's 3 alliances. The first alliance is self-alliance. The alliance you have with yourself. And you could use alliance for whatever word that means alliance to you, or, you could say friend, you could say, ally, buddy, partner, however you want to label it. The idea of having an alliance is 2 identities moving forward and a shared mission. The effort of each individual identity in that alliance together produces more than if they were to sort of pursue this mission on their own, right? And we call that the synergy of alliance. So getting back to self-alliance, in order to build an alliance with oneself, we have to have a model, a standard of what you are as an individual. And for me, I call that the A personality. And it's the personality or the identity that is perfect. That is the model of what our morality is, of what our aspirations, what we categorize as being our potential. That's the A identity. I think I said personality, A identity. And then there's the B identity. The B identity is who you are right now. It's your consciousness. It's who you are speaking with as your conscious mind operates. And we're constantly trying to. What's up, Big Rich? Good to see you. What's up, Lee? We're constantly trying to build a better relationship with that A identity, and that process, I label as the self-alliance. So when I decided, because decisions are powerful, right? Decisions were cutting off other options. Common misconception, the etymology of decision has to do with severing of options, not choosing of options. And I finally, I would say, made a decision. What's up, Big Nicholas Joseph? I finally made the decision to open up my deficiencies to the same process that I've used to empower so many other aspects of my life. The process being congruence. Don't talk about it, be about it. So why did I decide to get back in shape? Why did I decide to build a better relationship again with my physiology? It's because I was a liability, number one. That was probably the big spark. Driving back and forth to Oklahoma for that seminar because I didn't want to wear a mask on the plane. I herniated a disc in my back, and that was, in my opinion, so fucking pathetic. Especially when I finally made my way back. What's up, Big Matt? When I finally made my way back home, I could barely walk for a couple of days. And, the way my mind works, I'm like, okay, what if somebody breaks in? What the fuck am I going to do? What if, one of my kids is drowning in the pool? I could barely move. What am I going to do? And I just started creating all these scenarios. And I really needed to build a relationship with the realization that I was a liability in the one task and role that I pride myself on modeling, which is being a warrior to your tribe. So that was the spark. But after that, it was, what else am I not doing by having this huge deficiency? Now, mind you, I say deficiency, and I mean, and this goes for the rest of you guys who fall into this category. I was so strong in some aspects of my physiology that I used it to mask, to hide my deficiencies. I was benching over 400 pounds, squatting over 600 pounds. Like when I would do jujitsu once a week, maybe, I'm rolling with my students who I'm outweighing by 50 to 100 pounds. Like, so I'm submitting them, in the one round before I'm out of breath and I need to sit for 3 rounds. And I was using all of these highly powerfully developed aspects of my physiology to mask the deficiencies. And I think when all's said and done, we will be defined by our deficiencies. So you need to make sure that when you're building that relationship with yourself, understand there's nobody else there in the conversation. And honesty is paramount, at that stage. So when I decided to get my ass back in shape, it wasn't, once the decision was made, it wasn't difficult, and I'm going to announce something that I'm going to be doing starting the 1st, Saturday, in a little while, in a few minutes, but I just want to finish this thought. I've done intermittent fasting before. It's something that isn't a huge, difficult thing to do. It's basically you wake up, make sure you don't eat, go and do something. When you stop doing that thing and you start thinking about food, go and do something else. Rinse, repeat until your eating window starts. And what I would do is, try to have my eating window end. This is before, I'd done any keto, just the intermittent fasting. I try to make it end, with as few carbs as possible, right? So I wasn't taking a huge, carb influx, prior to going to bed. But, like I was doing intermittent fasting and still weighing 285 pounds. So it's not like, I'm trying to get the last piece of my six-pack going on. So I knew I needed to add something else. Now, one of the things that I had to come to grips with was that just doing intermittent fasting wasn't going to make it happen. And maybe this is my own personal bias, but to me, I wasn't going to be changing enough. I didn't want things to be complicated, but I also needed to experience some sort of sacrifice, some sort of pressure, because to me that was what allowed me. That was the sort of the dues that I was paying for the benefits that I would get from it. So I decided to also go keto. Keto's easy as shit. Intermittent fasting, even more so, because you got less meals to worry about. I eat once, twice a day, sometimes with a snack in between. I'm eating eggs, every once in a while a steak, hot dogs, organic and all that shit. I mean, the best possible hot dogs you can get. Hot dogs are still hot dogs. Burgers, with some ground meat, cheese, a lot of egg salad, chicken salad, salmon, and I don't fucking cook. My wife, without her, this would be a hell of a lot more painful than it is. But, the salmon that I get canned, organic, fresh, wild caught, all that fucking stuff. And usually just throw some fucking mayonnaise in it, and there's my salad. This is very low maintenance. It's not complicated. But one of the questions I keep getting is, what are you trying to get to, right? So I woke up this morning, 241. I've been like 241, 42 for about a week, What weight are you trying to get down to? What weight are you trying to get down to? Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to use the ladder, my ladder model to define this. If I set myself on a goal of a weight, and everything in my life was driving me toward that goal, it would be akin to falling in love, becoming obsessed with a rung on the ladder above me. It is a great motivator. It is a great a mission regulator when you have that rung. The problem occurs, though, when you reach it. Once you get there, you've done it. Now, what are other examples of this? I'll give you some personal examples. Whenever I would compete, if I had to be under, 190, I would be 189.9 for about 10 minutes, weigh in. And then 5 days later, I was 215. When I fought MMA at 170 pounds. You could believe it. I mean, I'm 5'5", so it's not that fucking much of a reach. But I was usually, my wife, when I met my wife, I was 220 pounds. Active, fucking training 5 hours a day and doing all the things that everybody else does. But when I fought, I went down to, I think, 82. I got down to 182 and then cut the rest in water for the weigh-in. But then as soon as that fight was gone, right back up to 220. Now, why was I only 220 then? Well, a lot of it was because part of my rituals every day were fucking training. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt, and I love fucking training jiu-jitsu. And I'd be training for 5-6 hours a day, and morning sessions, I'd be lifting in the afternoon, and then going back at night for another session, and that was my life. That was my life for years. Then I met my wife, we got married, and that was our lives for years. And then, my kids came. When my kids came, it was, my whole competitive drive was gone for jiu-jitsu and MMA. I just wanted to make money. I needed to provide. So I took that obsessive motivation and drive toward becoming a better businessman. Well, one of the obstacles that I experienced was being a businessman doesn't have a weight class. So it didn't matter what I weighed. I was reading, 6 hours a day. I was, watching videos, going to conferences and getting coaches and doing whatever I had to do. The same type of dedication that I had, that led me to become a black belt, to be a pro MMA fighter, to start my school when I was only a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, to do all these different things that took some balls, to be honest. I had that same mindset going into business. But again, the obstacle was a business didn't have a weight class. So I no longer had to sort of curb any of those, those drives. So my weight ballooned up. And then after a while, I started realizing, that I was strong and I can compete in powerlifting. And, some of my lifts were competitive, for my age and all these other things. So that became the thing. When I did my one powerlifting meet, I was in a 275-pound weight class. I had to cut weight to get to 275. I was like, mid 280s, found out I was 275, but I made the weight. That's the thing. Whenever there was a weight thing there, I made it. Because that was the focus, that was the drive, that was the rung I was climbing toward. But just like anything else, as soon as I got it and went past it, it was done. I have no other restrictions where my weight's concerned, so I didn't give a fuck. And then, you start teaching, and I wasn't competing, and I was so busy, and I had all these things that I was doing, and I started training less. I would still train with like my senior guys once a week, and then I had the elbow injuries, so even that, was obstructed somewhat. It was hard. Like, I'm coming back from another elbow injury right now that I gotten, I think 3 weeks ago, and I just rolled for the first time yesterday since losing, all this weight. And it's like, holy shit, I was handing out arm bars and stuff, and it was incredible. But without me doing that prior, when I was doing, so many other things, I had all these projects going on, my weight just wasn't a component of that mission. So bringing this, back around, when people are asking me what weight am I going to, I'm not judging myself by weight. Weight is a metric. It's a metric like anything else. But I have many metrics that I use to measure where I'm at and my compliance toward my mission. The majority of my metrics are movement-based. It's, what am I doing every day? How am I determining what I'm supposed to do regardless of any workouts or any hobbies that I'm working on, or like, what is my default level of movement? Just recently I was put on by one of my guys at PressureCon to I don't know if it's an official thing or if it's his thing. He calls it the Gamma Challenge, and it's named after the great Gamma, who was an Indian wrestler who was known for his workload. It was known for many things, among them, his workload for Hindu push-ups and Hindu squats. So he put a challenge out to all the people in the Warrior Project, my membership group, site and group. And that's what everybody's doing now. So my compliance to my daily movement requirement is part of my metrics. I have a Fitbit, and the Fitbit, 10,000 steps a day, 3,000 calories a day. I don't worry about the miles so much, but you could say 10,000 steps a day, and if I lift, it doesn't count towards my steps. If I swim, it doesn't count towards my steps. If I am doing jujitsu, it doesn't count towards my steps. I'm doing mobility stuff, doesn't count towards my steps. So my 10K a day happens regardless of whether or not I'm doing all these other things. And it's just a standard. It's the standard of compliance. So my mission is less about a weight. I originally told my wife, she had asked me, how long do you think you're going to stay on keto? And remember, I was starting this June 1st. So following my normal, formulas, she had asked, are you going to do it, the whole month? And I said, I'm going to do it till I'm 225. And when I said that, it was pretty much just a declaration of, I'm not in this for, just this limited amount of time, or, my whole thing is, I don't know where I'll be at 230. I don't know. I get to 225. I don't know where I'll be then. I don't know, and where I'll be mobility wise, activity wise, energy wise, mission and challenge wise, right? So what I'm doing is I'm doing all the things that my body should be doing, and where my weight's concerned, my body will find its weight. I'm going to do all the things that I know I should be doing, whether from personal drive or obligation. I'm going to handle all those things. My body will adapt, and it'll become the body it needs to be able to perform that. But to become obsessed with a weight or anything else, I'm not interested in that. So the latest challenge that I'm going to do, right? This is actually the reason why I started doing this video, or I planned doing this video. I got into that other stuff, just offering some info. Before I get into this, let me just reiterate. During PressureCon, I have many different talks throughout the weekend, and one of which that I did this past PressureCon a couple weeks ago, was a talk on my physical journey. Some of it I just touched on, but I went into it in a little bit more depth in this talk. And there are going to be some concepts, one of them movement improvement, that I touch on that may seem a little out of context, but I think you'll get the gist of it. And I promise you guys, in a few hours, I will make that free, public, and I'll put it on my YouTube, so you guys could check it out. Just seems the right thing to do. So let's get to this challenge. So the challenge that I'm going to do on Saturday, and I'm almost getting giddy because I have to say this out loud and speak it into reality, but I'm going to be doing a 9-day water fast. So starting Saturday, it'll be nothing but water and salts and certain minerals. I actually have a fasting expert coaching session on, I think it's on Friday in the AM, just to get everything in order. But I've been doing a bunch of research, in preparation for this over the last week or so, and it helps that I'm doing the intermittent fasting already. It helps that I do 24-hour fasts every once in a while. It helps that I'm on keto, so the idea of fasting, I have some rituals to help deal with. The hunger pains of going into ketosis is something that I'm not going to have to deal with. But starting Saturday will be day 1 of 9 for the fast. Now, it's funny. Why am I doing a 9-day water fast? Well, I mentioned earlier how losing this weight was easy. And I honestly mean that. You got to wait for the days, you got to wait for the weight to drop, you got to do all these different things, but it just wasn't a fucking challenge. And that's just not because I'm some fucking superhero. It's, it's like my school is not allowed to be open. My coaching, I do, primarily online now. Of all my coaching students, only one of them I meet in person. The other ones, are all online. My wife is amazing. I need something, she makes it for me. She helps me out. Although she has a direct benefit to me losing weight, so she is definitely on board. But I needed more of a challenge. It's just how I operate, and a fast is something that I've been contemplating for a while. I got a call from a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I'm thinking about doing a 9-day fast. So here's the thing. For those of you who don't know, I'm a heathen, and the way that I structure my philosophies and beliefs in the system that I build a relationship with, 9 is a very significant number. And the idea of a 9-day fast was something that I've contemplated probably the last couple of years. And a good friend of mine, I'm not going to put him on the spot, called me and said, he wants to do a 9-day fast. And immediately I said, I'll do it with you. The way that I process that, it's like, of course he's calling me and telling me that right when I needed another challenge to keep this going forward. So I immediately said, well, I'll do it with you. I don't know when he's starting it, but he's going to be doing it not in line with me. I told my wife I wanted to do it. She said she wants to do it too. She might actually be doing a 10-day fast. She's about that life. And I will document every day of it with a live video. Either a live video or a recorded video and upload it. But I'll have a day 1 through 9, going on this water fast. And, a lot of the specifics is, I just got to basically find shit to do all day. There's going to be a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility work. There's going to be a lot of reading, hopefully a lot of writing. I know there will be phases, and I'm eager to talk to this fasting coach that I'm speaking to on Friday to hopefully from him get a better sense of what I should expect my mental clarity to be like, my energy levels and whatnot, and just, get a little bit more depth of understanding of what to expect. I will say that I'm the type of guy that whenever something's like, oh, you're going to feel, if he tells me, on day 2, your energy is going to be real low, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, day 2, everyone else's fucking energy is low, motherfucker. So it's something that I know that it's going to be entertaining, to say the least. I feel right now, to be honest, that I have the same mindset and dedication to what I'm doing that I did, almost 20 years ago when I first started my academy. And all I wanted to do was be a UFC fighter. All I wanted to do was be a black belt. All I wanted to do was, these very specialized missions I had. And I had all of the energy and drive of a 20-something-year-old, being put toward that. And I would say right now, like, I feel like that is where I'm at. I feel like that's where my energy is. And it's a level of confidence and certainty that I haven't felt in a while, physically, So I don't know if you guys have any questions. I will be doing this, starting Saturday, 9-day water fast. My plan, and this is me fucking getting ahead of myself, my plan is to do 3 fasts within the next year. And the first fast is going to be a water fast. Second one is going to be a dry fast. And the third one, a hard dry fast. And I don't, know how long these things are going to be spaced apart. But that's my intention, that's my plan, that's my mission. I will get it done. I'm giving myself a year to do that. In between, I have to train for a fucking triathlon because I opened my mouth about that too, which is going well. I've been putting time in every day, getting a lot of technique down with swimming. My plan for that is to focus on swimming and technique and swimming until my body weight drops more, because then the running and cycling will have less of an impact on my body. But that's going fine. That's going great. But this fast is going to be a water fast, so yeah, I'll be drinking water every day, all day. Along with, I have some electrolyte powder that was designed specifically for this. I'll speak to that fasting coach on Friday and see if there's anything else, that I should add or remove, or he might say no, scrap that, do this instead, like whatever. I'm open to whatever suggestions he has. But then it's good to go. Now, why am I doing this? Why am I doing the 9-day water fast? It's not to lose weight. I can give a fuck about losing weight. Fasting to lose weight, like, it has nothing to do with that. I know there are many health benefits to the autophagy stage or state your body enters after fasting for a certain amount of time, and I will certainly, enjoy the benefits of that. But the single one reason why I'm doing this is because it's a fucking challenge, and I know that weak people can't do this. I know that cunts can't do this. I know that people who've never worked on their strength mentally can't do this. And I want to be the type of person who exists in that space in reality where not everybody dares to go. So it's not, why am I doing a 9-day water fast? It's, of course I'm doing a 9-day water fast. I had a student, my man Charlie Hustle, he trained with me a couple of years ago, then moved a ways away from the academy, and he had done a fast, and I don't recall the length at which he did it, but I know he went from like 180 to like 130, and he did it. It was probably like a 50-day fast or something. Like, he changed like his entire body type, it seemed. And it was just baffling to me. At the time, I was still competing and stuff, like, and I'm just like, yeah, right, you need your fucking protein, bro. Like, I was just not vibing on that, that type of mission at that point. Because that's just where I was, in my development. Now it's certainly a different story. Let me go through these comments. I think I have to scroll. If you guys have any questions, Monster, what's up, brother? Appreciate it. Courtney, what's up, Courtney? I've done a 9-day a few years ago. It was pretty rad. A lot of mental clarity is what I got out of it the most. Fucking A. That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, you and your husband are very strong people, so you're the type of people that would be doing it. Mike says, awesome. I'm on day 1 of 5. I tapped out on day 4 last go around. Fucking A. So you're on day 1 of a 5-day water fast. Good for you. Last time you tapped out on day 4. I have some incredible advice to make sure that doesn't happen. It's when you reach day 4, remind yourself that you're not a fucking cunt and finish what you fucking started. So your ancestors won't be completely fucking ashamed of you. All right? How's that? That's what you're getting. I know a lot of people, lately. James says keto all the way. Stay hydrated, though. Absolutely. Big Joe says herniated L4, L5 was exactly what rang my bell. Showed me how much I wasn't walking and how I wasn't walking it, how I was talking it. Changed my life from that point forward. Fucking A. Absolutely. And for me, it's going to be a series of challenges. Because the way I'm looking at it, it's like I'm fucking back on track. I was the guy who decided that he wanted to be a cage fighter, right? Because back when I started, I wanted to be an NHB fighter, a Vale Tudo fighter. I wanted to fight in a cage. I wanted to do all these, I was the guy that walked into a jiu-jitsu school with that in mind, who opened a school after training for 2 years or so, who fought MMA, pro MMA, when it's like I already had a bunch of students. My school was already doing well, and I decided to do an MMA fight. And, I remember thinking, well, I don't want to get fucking knocked out in front of all my students. which the way my brain works, it's like, well, now I have to fucking fight because I'm gonna feel like a bitch if I don't. So I did that. So this is just, I've always been this guy. I've always been the guy that has to do the thing, because if I don't do it, I'm gonna feel like a coward. So it's always seeking out the next thing. I think in my collection of wisdom and development of my philosophies, I think it's I've learned how to hone and leverage that motivation into more powerful, effective challenges and pursuits. But to me, it's just the saga continues. I think that. What's up, Kayla? Casey, what's up, Casey? She says, be uncommon among the uncommon. Fucking A. Nick Joseph says, I've done a 72 hours one. They're tough but rewarding. Yeah, I mean, I think the most I've ever done is 48. I think I did a 48. I did a 24 yesterday. And it was like super busy. Looked at my app, that Zero app that I told you about that my man Marlo put me onto. And I was at like 20 hours. And I was like, fuck it. I'll wait for 4 hours, do a 24. I knew I was going to be doing the 9-day, at the end of the week. So, they say to practice with longer fasts. So I was like, fuck it. Maybe I'll do another one beforehand. Big Jim says, any update on fall winter sessions with you and Tuan Tom? Well, no. So, I guess a little abrupt answer. I'm going to be putting on a pressure con probably at the beginning of the year in January. And Tuan Tom, I hope, could be around for that. One of the things that he had mentioned was, and I think anybody, and everybody should take him up on this. He is teaching pistol. He's teaching rifle tactics and systems, and he's been doing this forever. So what I was commenting on at PressureCon was that there was going to be a winter PressureCon. We were fortunate to have Tuan Tom around this time, but I don't want to make any assumptions that he would be there, in the January one also. Obviously, I'll do everything in my power to make that happen, but we'll see. But as an aside, one of the things he extended to the people there was that he is running pistol and rifle classes, so it's something that people should be taking him up on. And it's my understanding that a couple of people who are at PressureCon, that I won't name, already communicated to him that they're going to do that. So they'll be setting up training. So anybody interested in doing some pistol work, with Tuan Tom, like, it should be done. The same thing goes for rifle. What's up, Kayla? Goose just finished 600 meters swim. Fucking A. So Goose is going to be, Goose, one of my black belts, Brian Roth. He's also the probably the best swimmer out of my guys, and he also happens to live across the street from a beach. So he is going to be leveraged quite intensely in my preparation for this triathlon, and he and I have been communicating. But good shit on that, 600 meters. I actually bought a wetsuit. I think it's called, I don't know if it's called a shirt or a vest. I think it's called a vest. A sleeveless wetsuit vest, basically for buoyancy. Because I want to start doing open water swims, and I'm not going to explain this to Goose. I'm not going to worry about endurance right now. I'm just worrying about technique, just worrying about getting the technical aspect of my open water swimming down. So the buoyancy of having that vest is going to help tremendously. What's up, Big Mark? Appreciate it. What electrolyte powder are you using? I ordered it online. There was a guy. I ordered one and my wife ordered one. I think I might wind up using hers because the one that I ordered, she said, when reading the label, doesn't have magnesium, which is a no-no. So I might wind up using hers. I'll put a link for it. I got it as a recommendation from a guy who had made a video about it. I think it was on YouTube I was following. And this guy, seemed to have his shit down. And he had a link to this product that he recommended. Wasn't his product or anything. Probably an affiliate link, but I ain't mad at him. I will share that later on. So there it is. So what's the? Let's summarize the the talking points of this live show. Number one, losing weight was easy. I'm not trying to get to a specific weight. I'm trying to allow my body to become the body it's supposed to be, doing all the things that it's supposed to be doing. I'm going to make my MC's physical journey. I think that's the name of the video, MC's physical journey, or physical path. I don't know. I named it, but whatever seemed appropriate at the time. Whatever it's called, it's part of the PressureCon 5. This year's PressureCon's power program. So the video series, and I will take that one video out of that, and I will make it available for free on YouTube later. I suggest everybody watch it. If there are things there that don't make sense, you can't get the context, I would suggest just getting the whole video series, and it'll explain it. Specifically, the movement improvement video that's on the PressureCon video series, and the biggie, the motivation for this video in the first place. Starting Saturday, I'll be doing a 9-day water fast. So Saturday will be day 1, and every day I will put a video up, giving you guys feedback on what that's about. I have a coaching session with a fasting expert on Friday morning to get some tips and strategies, and maybe just some more information, knowing what to expect. I believe in metrics, right? Every ladder has its metrics. So this fasting, I want to try and get as many metrics as possible. All right, but I'm going to end it there. I appreciate you guys. I will share that video on this page, the Justin Garcia page, later. If you are watching this video on YouTube, just check the channel. It will be there later on this afternoon. But aside from that, I appreciate you guys. Talk to you guys soon.